Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got game 1 of a best of 1, and it is between ROOTViBE, who is the red Zerg player in the top left, and LiquidNonY, who is of course the blue Protoss player in the lower right. That means this is a ZVP or Protoss versus Zerg, depending on which way you want to look at it, and it is from the Razer Replay pack of the week, and Nony was the favourite, so thank you very much to Team Liquid Pro for releasing those games. The Razer Replay pack of the week is amazing and I love it, so big props to them. Now obviously, being a ZVP, we do have a couple of things that are pretty likely. Firstly, Nony doesn't seem to like fast expanding. I've cast a few of his games against Zerg now, and he really does not seem to enjoy getting a fast expansion, which is odd because on a Hana, getting a fast expansion is like taking candy from a baby, so it really does work well. Obviously, Vibe, 99.9% of the time, Zerg players will go for a 14 or 15 pool opening against Protoss, purely to be safe against cannons. That is the big threat, the big risk, and why you don't go hatch first. Obviously, following on from that 15 pool, you want to get a quick hatch, and then if the opponent is fast expanded, you go for a 4 to 5 minute third base. Now, of course, that isn't going to be the case though here for Nony, so Vibe is going to be happy sitting on 2 bases for a while, which makes his job a little bit less stressful, but it does mean that there could be some big pressure coming in. Nony getting his first gas now. That second gas will be a big tell. If we don't see a second gas geyser, that means 4 gate, pretty much 4 gate or nothing else. A 15 pool did come down by Vibe, so Vibe playing it safe, doing, in my opinion, the right thing. And the reason I say that's the right thing is purely because if you go for a hatch first, yes, sometimes you may get a slight economic advantage, but a lot of the time you could just flat out lose from a cannon rush, and in my opinion that's not worth it. It's not required. You can still be very, very potent, and the gain from going hatch first is not worth the risk, and that is essentially what everything you do in StarCraft should be broken down to. Is the gain of doing this worth the risk of what I could lose to? And likewise, you want to think of the gains, not only the risks, which is where you see some people who, some Zerg players for example, who may cut drones once one base is saturated and get a lot of Zerglies because they think, say, a 4 gate is coming. Well, that negates the risk, but you get no gain. If that push doesn't come, you're probably not going to be able to counter and make up for the workers you've lost, or basically make those units do anything for you for a long time, and you will end up losing. But here we go, we've got the warp gate tech getting chrono boosted. The second gas is down for Nony, so that doesn't seem like it's going to be a full warp gate. The second gateway added in now. We do have Vibe with his expansion nearly finished. That Overlord did, I believe, see one gas, didn't quite catch the second gas though, so that is essentially going to be the job of Overlord number 2. It's a 2-man job. Don't ask anyone how many Overlords it takes to change a light bulb, because obviously the Zerg race doesn't have light bulbs, do they? That would just be a stupid thing to ask people. So, let's just have a look around. Vibe, essentially is going to have to start thinking about getting a third base soon, because that pylon is basically saying Nony is getting ready to take his natural base, and Vibe either has to take his own third to stay a base up, or basically come and kill Nony. And I don't think that's an option for him at the moment, because the sentry is out. We've got a second sentry there as well, and force fields are indestructible blockades that basically prevent Zergling run-bys. So, I mean, obviously you can if the Protoss player isn't watching, but Nony's a great, great guy. Now, the one thing I love here from Vibe is this, the third queen, the queen that is purely there to spread the creep. It is brilliant. Always get it. Get 1, maybe even 2 queens for creep spread. I cannot emphasize enough how much I love that. So, big props to Vibe basically there. We do have Warp Gate Tech about to finish. We've got quite a good count of sentries out now though. There goes the Warp Gate, and I imagine we could see something more. Stargate coming down. Now this is insanely similar to another Nony game I cast recently, but I'm not going to give away which one it was because I'm not quite sure which order I'm going to release them in yet. So yeah, Nony is doing a very, very similar build, and I mean, it could be pretty potent. Vibe getting down his own third base, just ready. He's got the double Zerglings coming in, just basically trying to get scouting information, know what's coming on, and he needs to send those Zerglings up to see that Stargate to react appropriately. The other great thing about having that queen out is basically if you've got the third queen, one, you don't have to worry about getting a third queen for your third base, But 2, any kind of air pressure that does come in, you can be ready to deal with very, very easily. But this ground pressure could be the threat, and it's nice little timing. I don't know, was that scouted? No, so the Stargate is complete mystery. And unfortunately, my good buddy here, ViBE, you fell into the mistake. I literally drill into people's heads. Get a Rotron, get an Evo Chamber, get them at the same time. It is so vital, but no. Here we go, we do have a good ground push coming in, and those Zerglings are going to have a tough time, because, I mean, if there's 2 things Zerglings don't like, it's Force Field and Zealots. So, there goes down the Force Field, that's step 1. And the Zealots are now cleaning up, but the Queens, they come down, they're going to pick off that Sentry. That's a good little win there, but I mean, in terms of units lost, over double the resources lost there for ViBE, which isn't huge at 600, but it's still more than nothing. The single Void Ray coming across, and of course, no Evo Chamber. The 2 Queens are still down. There's a 3rd Queen somewhere, I believe. There we go. But of course, once you start seeing things like Phoenix, which are getting chrono boosted out, they lift up those Queens, and then suddenly you're left with a Zerg player with no form of anti-air. Lair hasn't even started yet, and was that something just scout that? Was it scouted? Was that... Yep, it must have been, because basically out come 3 more Queens, suddenly ready to basically mass up the Queens. It's the only anti-air option ViBE has available. But unfortunately they're going to be quite a long way away, so a lot of Queens are on their way over now. That Void Ray will be forced back. Queens actually surprisingly good against air units. I mean, the only thing they'll really struggle with Queens is if there's a lot of air, but that is a big commitment, and most Protoss players won't go for that purely due to the risk of it. No Evo Chamber started yet, the macro hatch is down. I mean, all of these Overlords spread around the map are going to die basically to the Phoenix. Surprised that one wasn't picked off, but I mean, still we've got Phoenix just scouting around literally everywhere to try and find anything they can. One Overlord's going to go down there. This one may not get spotted just because it's so out of the way, but it is a common place to put an Overlord. These 2 at the back, they're going to go down, and of course, Overlords for nothing do 3 things. 1, potentially supply block your Zerg opponent. 2, basically annoy them because they have to rebuild Overlords. And 3, cost them lava and minerals, which is always great. So definitely look for those stray Overlords running around. And this is actually a really effective force because, I mean, the majority of the army here is Queens. And there's also a couple of Roaches. The Roaches will completely clean up these Zealots. And that's a bit of a shame that the Roaches basically are out in such force. I mean, the only downside to this, of course, is that those Queens can get lifted. A great transfuse goes down there. More Queens getting lifted as quickly as they possibly can to minimise their damage. Of course, Phoenix can just lift them and pick them off. And now these are all down, it's going to cause problems. The first 4 core is finally coming down. Now the Robotics Bay coming up for NonY, so he's switching into Colossi. Now basically, if some Queens are picked off, it's always good because, I mean, Queens are a key to Zerg production, and if you deny them, then that's brilliant. Obviously, Phoenix great at picking up those little drones because they're light and they're squishy, and that means Phoenix can just pick them off, and they're free. So, I mean, 7 workers killed now by NonY. He is, what, 7 workers behind and also a base, which isn't great, but it does, however, mean that he's not super far behind. I mean, if we look at the incomes, ViBE is behind in the gas income for his start because he's only on 3 gas, but his middle income isn't super high compared to NonY, and that means that NonY's definitely in this. He's getting ready to set up a 3rd base as well. That single Overseer must be the world's luckiest Overseer going, and the Phoenix should spot it. Come on, Phoenix. Come on, something spot that Overseer and just go and kill it. It's pushing its luck going into the base. Come on, it's literally in full vision now. Good, Phoenix. Go on, you go kill that Overseer. That is exactly what you want to do. I kind of like watching Overseers explode. I think it's just, it must be really satisfying for the Phoenix pilots as well, just seeing them literally just like explode out of nowhere. But anyway, coming up here to look at ViBE's base, he's getting down all of his gas bar 1, so that takes him up to 5 gas. And I mean, gas absolutely essential for every race for their tech. And I mean, the Colossi is out. The thing which is concerning is I don't think that has been spotted, but this is a big roach push coming in here. ViBE does have a lot of units coming in. Roach speed is done, so this is +1 missile attack. That is again so equal upgrades. There are just so many roaches, and I mean, there is only that one Immortal. Some good force would go down. The Immortal should be what's focused first in my opinion, but no focusing going on at all here. That could cost ViBE a significant amount of stuff because, I mean, he does have good numbers, but the Immortal is what's going to do all of the damage. The Colossi, not the hugest threat in my opinion in such low numbers. Pick off that single immortal just like that. Probes being drawn out as well. That's basically a good sign of what's going to do. Splitting up the roaches is also fantastic because obviously Colossi rely on their splash damage, and just so many probes getting taken down here. 17 now taken down, and some Zealots are getting warped in just to try and tank for these two Colossi, and it will get cleaned up, but I mean, if we look at the work count now, 67 to 51, that will give ViBE a good little advantage in terms of the income. And he's just remaxing on top of this, and I mean, with only a handful of units, this could actually be a very punishing force, and the creep spread is just brilliant by ViBE. Again, that was caused due to having so many queens purely for creep spread. By so many, I mean 2. Now, there's some good force fields coming down, but of course, those roaches do have speed, they will find their way through, and if they start sniping off either Colossi or even just sentries, that can be quite a big loss, and of course, Colossi aren't that strong in head-up engagements without support, so these roaches are going to pick them all up, and I could actually see NonY having to GG out of this at some point, because he's losing all of his key tech, and I mean, Phoenix are getting some great lifts down. All of the sentries are still up, but the force field count is very, very low. We do have these two queens just still spreading the creep, and it's just amazing creep spread. 15 minutes in, it's halfway across the map, and it's amazing coverage as well, like literally all of it. We do have another wave of units coming in. We do have the second Evo on its way. No second queen though there, which is quite surprising. We do have pathogen glands just starting now, and I mean, yes, there is some stalks coming out. Another Colossi done. Double robotic facility will allow for some good production out here, but I mean, there's just so many roaches just streaming across. Not enough though to engage this with a Colossi and also the Voidway. Could see some lifts go down here, because why on earth not? It'll get you a couple of units for nothing. Units for nothing is as cost effective you can be. And well, the roach numbers are getting higher. The +1 melee attack on its way, so the upgrade's not amazing. Hive coming down as well. Pathogen glands is reaching the sort of 50-second mark, so should see some infestors start getting queued up shortly. The gas very, very low though at the moment for ViBE. ViBE is getting his Spire out basically to deal with both the air and also the Colossus, but I mean, in come all of these roaches again, and ViBE almost falling into a bit of a problem here with basically trying to pick off these key units as quickly as he can, but I mean, NonY just doesn't look like he had enough. It was pretty close at a moment there, but I mean, it looks again like ViBE may just have the critical mass needed. That one Colossus though causing so much problems, using the high ground so well. Absolutely brilliant. Not quite up high enough though, the Colossus does fall. That is going to be very, very frustrating. Another Colossus is out though, and ViBE is just streaming more reinforcements in. It's an awful lot of Zerglings just for the quickest reinforcements possible, and somehow NonY is holding on, and that is absolutely beautiful defense. I mean, how he's still holding this is literally by the skin of his teeth, but credit where credit's due. It was a good defense. The fourth base is down for ViBE, and what I was saying, ViBE is falling into that basically pothole of, well, sending lots of roaches worked at first, so clearly I should just send more roaches and that will win me the game, and that isn't quite right, because the problem is that second push didn't do enough damage in my opinion. It did take out a couple of Colossi, but if we look at the loss tab, ViBE is now getting quite behind in terms of resources loss. He is taking a fifth base, he's getting more gas up, because gas is the limiting factor here for ViBE. NonY is taking his fourth as well. That's potentially a weak spot, because now rather than just having 1 point to really defend, it's another entrance which is a long way away. Obviously the Phoenix not being utilised as well as they could be in my opinion. There's no spores down here. Those Phoenix could absolutely wreck things, and I mean, yes, there are some corruptors, but I mean, those corruptors may not be able to do as much as they would want, or an awful lot of drones are taken down. That single Voidway will probably fall though, because Corruptor's outspeeded. The Phoenix should be able to get away though, so that's not too bad. A big probe transfer coming across. Now we're at 88 to 75 workers in favour of ViBE. So ViBE possibly got a couple too many workers. Maybe build 8 spines somewhere or something like that might be good, because of course Broodlord Infestor is the end game goal, but you need that spine wall in order to really defend against the push, because Broodlords are so slow. And now here we go with a big push coming out of here from NonY. He's got so many Colossi there that, I mean, I don't think there's enough Corruptors to take them out quickly enough to avoid the rest of the army falling, and with the exception of a lot of Zerglings and a handful of Infestors, there's nothing really there. Mass Roach being panic built by ViBE right now, but NonY just has such a dominating force, and a good counter position movement coming in here. A couple of those Zerglings may actually be able to do some good damage. Colossi are coming across though. The Stalkers need to focus down the Corruptors rather than the Zerglings though. That could be mistake number one from Noni. And I mean, that's allowing these Corruptors to kick off Colossi very, very easily, and you need the critical mass. I mean, 3 is okay, 4 is ideal. That's the point at which roaches start to really melt. And I mean, this is just good momentum now from Noni. He doesn't have any way to resupply super quickly. Also bringing those observers on to pick off the creep tumors. That creep spread is just so good. It's scary. Now, basically we need to see those couple of Colossi just come and pick up off. Some more added in, and this is all from the 2 Colossi being produced at a time. Blink is also on its way now as well. And basically we've got a big problem here for Vibe, who looks like he's just going to go for a counter-attack, not going for the 4th base, instead I think going to go and try and target the 3rd. That might not be the best move. 1-1 upgrades are done, that's compared to 3-0 for Noni, so he does have the upgrade advantage there. But, I mean, those roaches, they're going to get trapped in, and it's basically forced Vibe back down to 3 bases, which puts Noni a base up. So, maybe not a winning move there, but certainly puts Vibe on the ropes. And, I mean, he's lost an awful lot of workers. Income-wise, look at how much better Noni's income is. And, basically, if you've got better income and you've lost, well, nearly 10,000 more resources than your opponent, you're not going to be in a good shape to go on. And I mean, these Stalker numbers are getting very, very high. The Colossi numbers are getting very, very high, and there are no Corruptors on the field. A good little move to try and get through, but an amazing blink through. And I mean, there's just so many Colossi. I don't think Vibe will be able to hold this push. Those roaches are literally going to melt. They are 3+3 attack Colossi as well. And there goes the GG. So that was really, really good play by Noni. How he held that defense, I will never know, but it was beautiful. So guys, if you did enjoy the cast, please give it a thumbs up or a like. Leave a cool comment below about the game, player, or casting. And follow me on Twitter. And please, please subscribe. The support would be amazing. And I get new top level games up every single day of the week, so that'd be cool. But most importantly, I really hope you enjoyed the game and the cast, and I hope to see you again. Bye for now.